As the 18th century drew to a close, the new classical era brought a return to simplicity and classical aesthetics. Gowns took on a more columnar shape, emphasizing the classical ideals of ancient Greece and Rome. Thus, the new classical simplicity closed the period. This gown I'm designing reflects not only the fashion preference of the time, but also the social shifts and ideas that shaped the lives of women in the late 19th century, but also of ours, the 21st century. My name is Raquel de la Cruz, owner of La Casa de la Cruz, a fashion house that modernizes old historical costumes of centuries prior. So I do want to mention this because I find that young fashion designers or designers miss this step when creating a neckline that curves. This is called a stay stitch. And these stay stitches, hopefully you can see them because they're done in the same color as the fabric. But stay stitching, it's done to permanently prevent stretching on curved edges. So for example, this bodice curves right at the shoulder line, which would be the neckline, all the way through where there will be a gather. But this part here has a very curved shape, and in order to prevent that from moving or stretching once it's worn, then stay stitching is a good technique to use in order to keep that still and stiff. Here is the stitch line, and I'm just going to cut through the center of this stitch right down to the actual stitch, but not through it. And this will strengthen this area. So I will be working on some Regency era dresses here in the near future. This is a really cool book that was just released, I believe, in 2019. And it just talks about the dress and style and why it was worn, how it was worn, and the greater details of fashion during the time, which is really, really cool. Like here, village styles. So here we can see the Bennett girls in Pride and Prejudice walking to Meryton, and was part of the local fashions at the time. So it quotes Jane Austen's many novels and then translates the fashion that was worn for whatever the occasion was. It's a great book, and I've yet to get through most of it. And it talks about undergarments and what they wore at home. I mean, it really dives deep into the period of the time and the fashions. Great book so far. I definitely recommend what I have read thus far. This is the lining, and I've already stitched the interior of the lining to the skirt, and I need to finish this half. But I'm really loving this flare and this very Regency aspect of the dress, where it has this sort of upward curve at the back. Again, this is the interior, so this is the lining, and there's also a back panel all in its own. So you can see here is the seam that I enclosed with a French hem, and then there's a side panel, another one here, and then the entire front is on one panel. The one thing that I forgot to do as I was getting carried away, because I'm designing this as I go, I forgot to put in pockets. And the sad thing is that I've already closed the seam here. Of course, it's easy enough to open it, but I'm not sure I'm going to. We'll see how I feel as I'm continuing the design. Now, typically Regency styles went all the way down to the floor and had a kind of train at the back. This isn't doing that. This will stop here, just below the knee, and about mid-range, about the calf area, just under the calf. But that still needs to be complete. It's nowhere near done. And the front is semi-complete. Again, this is the interior vest. That's loose, and this is all inside out, so.